Hey, what's up, Superdads? So I'm coming to you today with just a real simple but absolutely brutal and very effective leg exercise that you can do and a couple variations that you can throw in. Now, training at home for your legs can be quite tricky for those of us who can't go to the gym for whatever reason it is, or don't want to go to the gym, whatever the reason may be. If you don't have access to like a barbell and power rack sort of setup at home, it can be tough. It can be tough to get a good, really satisfying and effective leg workout at home. I've got dumbbells sitting here, and there's a lot of things you can do with dumbbells to make sure that you're training your legs effectively, but it often doesn't feel nearly as good as if you have access to machines or have access to a power rack or something like that. But here, I think, is a fantastic option. Now, in general, there are things like doing bodyweight squats and stuff like that. For many people, that will be a great option. But as you get stronger and you get fitter and you lose excess weight and these sorts of things, because you're using your body weight, it can turn out to be no longer quite as effective as it used to be. In that case, things like isometric holds, really slowing down your reps, wall sits, and then overcoming isometrics are all great options. And any of the programs that I put out include things like that. But there's also a desire a lot of people have, just because it's more fun and it's more engaging, more easy to get sort of motivated to do it, to have more dynamic exercises. So things like squats, like a barbell squat. It's a challenging but also fun thing to do. So you might be thinking, all right, well, the obvious solution here is single leg stuff. And you're right to a point. Because many people, what they'll do is they will default to stuff like Bulgarian split squats, where your rear leg is elevated. Kicking my chair here. Your rear leg is elevated. Or like a split squat, where maybe your rear leg is on the ground, but you're doing it like this. These sorts of things. And those are also very good exercises. Very good. I have a lot of my clients do them. But they do have a little bit of a problem with them, and that is the fact that your rear leg, when it's acting as a support, it can get worn down. It can get tired from acting as a support leg, and then when you switch legs, your second leg feels already fatigued, and so it's hard to get the same number or to get the same kind of workout. So you end up having to make sure that you're alternating legs, which one goes first, and then it's like, are you really making sure that you're getting a balanced workout? And this is a tricky thing about doing single leg or single arm or whatever it is work, is you have to make sure that you're balancing things out. And it can actually be quite a bit more tricky to get a balanced workout than it is when you're doing bilateral movements where both arms or both legs at the same time. Also, they can contribute to knee pain. I've had several clients who've had issues with, when they're doing split squats or they're doing Bulgarian split squats, right? They have mobility issues, or maybe they have some sort of tendonitis in their knee or something like that. And this position doesn't feel good, doesn't feel great, especially if they're doing it for like a, isometric or something like that. Though they can be used to heal joint issues as well if they're used properly. Anyway. Long story short and preamble over, what I'm going to suggest is that you do single leg work, but you do it with the rear leg floating. Okay, so what would that look like? Well, all you need for this is a chair. Grab onto the chair, and the purpose of your back leg when you do a split squat is to keep you balanced. It's to remove the balance part as much as possible from the equation. Now, you can still have balance issues if your feet aren't the right distance apart or anything like that. It can still be an issue where you're feeling like your balance is going before your muscular strength goes. But this solves that problem. It solves all the problems as far as I'm concerned. All you're going to do is grab a chair and float your back leg, and then you're going down and doing a one-legged squat there, the same way you would do a lunge or anything like that, though it does look a little bit different. Now, if I were doing a lunge, typically it would look like this. Notice how upright my upper body is. When I'm doing this version, my upper body is a little bit more forward. It much more resembles a back squat, which is a good thing, because a back squat, when you do a back squat, your shoulders are over the midpoint of your feet if you're doing it correctly. And what this results in is a very balanced development of the legs. the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, all of these things are hit with a back squat. And if you look closely at when I'm doing this version, it's a very similar alignment. My shoulders over my midfoot. So you're really getting that similar balance development, and you can feel it when you do this. You feel it in your glutes, you feel it in your hamstring, you feel it in your quads throughout the leg, rather than just hitting one part preferentially. So there you have it, a single leg floating squat, or what it's actually called. Well, the version that I learned was the skater squat. And a skater squat is where you hold some weights in your hands and do it like this, because it looks like a skater pushing along. I don't think holding the weights in the hands helps with balance, to be honest, but I would prefer to take the balance out of it entirely, hold on to a chair, and do it in this way. Now, there are a lot of benefits to this. You're removing the balance, so you're really putting the effort all the way through the muscles. That's one. But another is that you can do it as an adaptive drop set, which is something that I'm absolutely in love with, because it allows you to spend as much time as possible near failure. And what I mean by that is, if I do this first one and I'm not touching I'm just barely touching the chair, right? Okay. Ooh, it's already pretty hard. Maybe I can get a couple more like that. But as it gets so hard that I can't do it anymore, all I'm gonna do is use a little bit more force on the chair to help support myself with my upper body strength. Maybe pull the chair in a little closer, and now I'm kind of using like a tricep extension to help get myself up. And by doing that, each rep that you do is proximal enough to failure that it should be stimulating strength and muscle gains. So you could do a set of 8, but instead of the last 3 being the ones that cause adaptation, every one of them could be driving adaptation, because you're always near failure. An adaptive drop set. So they're fantastic for that reason. Now, what are some other tweaks that you can make to this? One thing that makes a big difference for me is to just put a pillow on the ground, because what it allows you to do is not be worried about your knee banging onto the ground if you have hard floors, that kind of stuff, but it also can keep you more honest. So you go down, and what do you try to do? You try to just barely touch the pillow with your knee and then come back up. So you're never resting on anything. The pillow doesn't provide enough support for your off leg to sort of provide, to allow you to rest, because you want to avoid resting there. Okay, so putting a pillow down will help a lot. It'll also keep you honest, because it won't let you rest on the ground, but it'll also force you to go down low enough that you're actually touching the pillow. See, that's binary. Did you touch the pillow or not? And if you didn't, it's not a full rep. Okay, also, you're shooting for hypertrophy. I would say you want to avoid locking out at the top. So you're coming down, back up, stop right around here. And there are your reps. Okay, so that's another option. Another great one is to actually do this as a yielding isometric. So you come down here and you're holding. Just hold it in this position. Hold, 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 hold. And as it gets harder and harder, you can help yourself with your hands, adaptive drop set once again. This way, prolonging the yielding isometric. So for those of you who, this is too difficult, even with the help of your hands, just doing slow negatives or holds on this will increase your leg strength tremendously. Okay, so that's another great option. Now, for those of you out there who are super strong and who say that I can do these for reps, no problem. Instead of adding weight, of course you can add weight. Pick up a dumbbell in one hand and just go after it. I would first recommend trying this version. So what you're going to do is you put a step or a book or something on the ground there, and then all you're going to do is do it with a deficit. So now I'm starting up higher, barely reach the chair. I want a higher chair, you could use a wall, whatever you need there. And then instead of where you did it before, you're now going to go down below the deficit. Woo! And that is challenging. Okay, so there you go. That's going to be a great way to progress it into a more difficult version. Again, you won't need any equipment to do that. Okay, so here you have it, the floating leg squat. I think this is a great solution for anybody out there who does their training at home and doesn't want to end up with an unbalanced physique where their upper body's developed, because push-ups and pull-ups and dips and things like this are all you really need for upper body development, but they can't seem to find a good leg exercise that will really develop strength, balanced, usable strength in their legs. Here is an option for you. You can check out all the programs down below. Lots of innovative approaches to exercise, things that you can do with minimal or no equipment at home with very little space. This is one of my major gyms right here, surrounded by toys and pianos and this kind of stuff, and I still make it work. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can check it out down in the description. And there's a Facebook group if you want more, want more contact, want to be able to ask for advice, get that kind of stuff, feedback directly. Please feel free to join, totally free and all that. So I'm just here to support, especially you busy dads out there, because I know what it can be like, and I want you all to have the feeling that you're thriving, that you're living a good life. All right, thanks for watching. Take it easy.